guys, Laura here. I'm here to do my April reading wrap up. I wound up reading 7 books and I completed listening to one and I started listening to a few audiobooks. So I actually had a pretty good reading month. I got through almost everything that I wanted to get done this month and I read some random ones as well. But I had a very, very good reading month and I actually really enjoyed what I read. And I read some books that I've been dying to read, so it's super exciting. So I'll tell you guys what I read and what I listened to. The first book that I completed listening to this month was Dare You To by Katie McGarry. I bought this and really, really wanted to re-listen to it because I love this book. This is probably one of my favorite books that Katie McGarry has ever written. I love Ryan. I love Ryan and Beth, and I just had to reread this story. And it was so good to listen to it. It will definitely become one of my favorite books to re-listen to, like Lil and the Boy Next Door, which I think I've listened to 3 different times. But it was so good, and I was so excited that I finally got to re-listen to it. And then the next book that I read was Their Fractured Light by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner. This is the last book in the Starbound series that came after These Broken Stars and This Shattered World. I loved this book. I gave this book 5 stars. It was such a fast-paced read and such a great conclusion. All the characters in the past 3 books, the 6 characters, all got to meet and interact. And it was just such a good conclusion. I really, really enjoyed it. And it was a very, very solid conclusion. I also did a wrap-up review of this book, and Wind Witch. So if you want more thoughts about that, go check out that review. I think it was a few videos ago. So go check that if you want more of my thoughts. But overall, I really, really liked it, and it was a very, very good read. And then the next book I finished reading was the Owl Crate book for the month of February, which was Carnival by Stephanie Garber. This book, I will be doing a review once I finish the book after this, which is the March book. So keep an eye out. I will be doing a review on this. I just like to keep my Owl Crate books bunched together. But overall, I really liked it. I gave it 4 stars. It's about this girl named Scarlet, and she winds up getting an invitation to go to this carnival that happens once a year with her sister because she thinks it's her last time as a free woman because she is scheduled to get married the week that Carnival ends. And she goes to Carnival and her sister winds up getting kidnapped, and it sends her into a complicated, twisty adventure to find her sister and see who is really controlling this game. It was really good. It was 4 stars. It was a very, very fast-paced read. And it was I liked it. I felt like it was a solid book with a beginning, middle, and end. Nothing felt rushed, but I still want more. And good news, there is a second book coming. But I liked how it really wrapped itself up. So I'm excited to see what the second book will be and what we're introduced to. But overall, I really liked it. It was very, very well plotted. The world building was very, very well done as well. And the characters were really, really interesting. And I really, really liked the characters. So I'll be excited to see what happens in book 2 in the series. And then the next book I read that I did do a part of my review with Their Fractured Light was Wind Witch. Sorry if you heard my phone ring. My mom does not know how to respect video time. But the next book that I read was Wind Witch by Susan Dennard. And this is the second book in the Witchlands novel, the sequel to Truth Witch. I really like this book. I gave this book like 4.5, 5 stars. I enjoyed it. I talked a lot about it in my wrap up, but I thought that this book was much easier to get into and much easier to follow than Truth Witch. I thought that the characters being separated actually added a lot to the story, and I loved how the new perspectives that we saw really allowed you to see characters in totally different and unique ways, and I cannot wait for 2018 when we get Blood Witch, which is the next book in this series. And the book that I read after Wind Witch was The Kill Order by James Dashner. Now, this is in the Maze Runner series, and it's the prequel to the Maze Runner, but this book does not include it doesn't include Thomas. You see like a little bit of Thomas in the start and the end of the book. But there is an unexpected twist at the end when you learn who one of these characters in this novel is. So there is a lot of negative press about this book, and people really don't like it. They think that it's not a good book in the series. It doesn't push anything along. But I wonder if those people have actually finished the book, because at the end, the book makes so much more sense when the identity of one character is actually revealed. So I really liked it. I thought it was very, very interesting, and I gave it 3 stars. It wasn't the best written book, but I really, really liked it. I liked the problem I have with this book is you get really invested in these characters, but you know they're all doomed because it's set in the world before the flare, or as these characters are getting the flare, and all these characters are going to die. So it's very, very hard to have emotional attachments to these characters simply because you know that they're gonna die. But I thought it was a very interesting way, and the world that we saw, we haven't seen this world before. And I'm very excited to read the Fever Code, which is when we get to see what, how did Thomas build the maze. So that I hope to read maybe in June. It's not gonna happen next month unless I read stuff very, very fast. But yeah, I'm very excited to read Fever Code, and I got that at Comic-Con, and I got it signed by Jane Stasher. But yeah, so those are my thoughts on The Kill Order. I might do a full series review once I finish all the books in the Maze Runner series. But yeah, so those are my thoughts on The Kill Order. The next book I read is going along with my Tamora Pierce reread, which is Terrier by Tamora Pierce. Now, this is the first book in the Legend of Becker Cooper series, and Becker Cooper is the great, 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 great grandmother of George Cooper, who is Alana's husband. Yes, I know. If you have not read the series, you really don't know who I'm talking about, but it takes place in the past, and it follows this woman named Becca who winds up becoming basically a police officer, and they call them dogs. And she winds up getting invested in all of these mysteries, and it's her first year as being a dog, and it is a very, very long book. It is close to 600 pages, because the way that this book is written is it's written through journal entries. So you don't actually see this through an omniscient perspective. You see this through Becca Cooper's eyes. So the perspective of this book is kind of interesting. And the book starts off with you back in time, and you learning about Becca Cooper, George Cooper's mother, and him, and then her telling George Cooper about his great great grandmother, and how her her love of law should avoid him from becoming a criminal. So that's kind of how the book starts. But overall, I really liked it. It was really, really long, but I really do like the character of Becca. Kel is still my favorite heroine, but I really, really like Becca. So I'm very, very excited to continue reading her series. And then after that, I needed a short book or something small to read. So I picked up Our Chemical Hearts by Crystal Sutherland. I did do an individual review about this, so go check it out. I got it at Barnes & Noble Fest in June, and it came out in September. I really, really liked this book. I thought it was great. I gave it 3.5 stars. It was a really, really fun YA contemporary that follows Henry, who falls hard for a girl named Grace, and her past leads to some unexpected consequences. It's a much more bittersweet contemporary, and it has an unexpected twist at the end, which I really appreciated. And it really diverted from the typical YA trope, and I was actually okay with that. So it was definitely a different type of story. But I love the pop cultural references, and it definitely did deal with some harder YA topics, so I highly recommend that you read it. Overall, I really, really enjoyed it. And then the last book that I read in about a day was A Study in Charlotte by Brittany Cavallaro. I had read this book before. I read it last year when it first came out, but I got this at Comic-Con, so I really wanted to reread it because I got an arc of the second book, which I'm going to read right now. After I read this, I'm going to restart it. But I really, really loved it. It was a great mystery, and I just forgot how much I love these characters. I really, really love Jamie, and I think his relationship with Charlotte is really, really unique. The way that Charlotte is crafted as well is super interesting. It deals with a lot of darker issues that are present in the Sherlock universe, like drug abuse and alcoholism. But I think the mystery is just so well plotted, and you could tell that Brittany Cavallaro has a soft spot for Sherlock, and you could tell how much she really takes pride in the series. So I would highly recommend that you read it. Those are all the books that I finished reading in the month of April. I also started listening to 13 Reasons Why by Jay Asher after I finished watching the TV series. I'm going to definitely do a video about comparing and contrasting the book and the TV series once I'm done with it, because I have some very, I would say, unique opinions, so I want to share them, and I think that the TV show is getting a lot of slack, and I think that I just want to share my thoughts and what I think, because I think the book and the TV show do things in very, very good ways, and they do different things in good ways. So I think that it's like the first time I've ever really like seen the TV show as like a supplement to the book, and I really enjoyed it. So I'll be sure to do a video about that in the month of May. And I'm still trugging along on Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. But be sure you check out what I'm reading in the month of May. I hope you guys are having a great day, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!